You are about to listen to another episode of That Sports Guys podcast, hosted by Craig Forrestal. Find Craig on Twitter at that_sports_guy. The That Sports Guys podcast is proudly featured by NFL Draft Diamonds, your draft coverage king. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some football talk.
Hello and welcome to another episode of That Sports Guys podcast. I am Craig Forrestal. You might know me from Twitter as at that_sports_guy. And today I have with me Morehead State running back Earl Stoudemire Jr. Earl, how are we doing today?
Great, man. It's a great day to be alive out here, man, in Kentucky, and continue to grow in the aspect of football and continue to push forward with my dreams.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. You're talking about Kentucky, and I wanted to know because the school website says Shelbyville, Kentucky is where you're from. What's it like growing up in Shelbyville?
Well, Shelbyville, Kentucky is pretty much a very small town, which makes it hard to be successful just because of that reasoning with it being small. But I was born in Louisville, Kentucky, and ended up moving to Shelbyville around fourth grade, and there are a few people in Shelbyville who are very supportive of my dreams and goals, but, it's a blessing to be from here. There's a lot of people here that look up to you, and it's truly a blessing to show that you can do anything depending on anywhere you're from.
And I wanted to ask you, you mentioned the support, and I saw you were talking about a very special bond that you and your father have. Maybe if you could talk a little bit about that relationship.
Yeah, of course. Me and my father's bond is everything. That's the only person who, he's been standing strong through everything he's been through, and we're very tight just because it's me and him for a while. Like, there was a time when, my mother wasn't in my life, and he always been there for me, and he stepped up and played that father role, which is usually, vice versa for a lot of people, especially a lot of young Black athletes. And he started me in football and made me stick with it until middle school, and then that's when I just fell in love with the game. So I thank him for that.
And sticking on the family theme, I saw you grew up with a lot of sisters. Now, I'm a big brother. I'm an older brother, and I used to size my brother's friends up pretty hard whenever they came through. So now, were you a brother like that? Were you that scary brother, or were you pretty much just a cool guy and let your sisters do what they needed to do?
Of course, I'm not gonna say I just let them do what they needed to do, just because if that was the case, I wouldn't, be a big brother. But I would say at first, I probably would come off as a scary brother, just because it's hard for me to trust a lot of people and my sisters, just because they're like everything to me. So I feel like any brother would feel that way. But eventually, once I get to know you and gain your trust, I feel like everything gets a little bit better, unless I just actually don't like you.
That's a whole different story. Earl, I want to know, the game of football, did you love it right away, or did it take you some time to fall in love with football?
So football, honestly, like I said, I was forced into it by my dad, and eventually I got a good feeling for the game. And I started to believe that it was God's way of telling me this is how he wanted me to provide for my family one day. So, but eighth grade, when football came around, that's when I actually fell in love with it, and ever since then, I've taken off with it.
And let's just go with that. When was the moment that you knew that you were pretty good at football? You said your goal is to provide for your family. When did you think, hey, I might have a future in this. I could do this in college?
Around eighth grade, like I said, I began to play running back, and I always knew that I wanted to be the one scoring the touchdowns. And I remember the first time I touched the ball in my first game, eighth grade, and I scored. And I just knew at that moment that was something I could get used to. And ever since that day, I knew I could play at the collegiate level, and made it a goal of mine to be playing on Sundays and Mondays as well.
And let's go there, because you started your college days at Kentucky Christian, and then you transferred to Morehead State. How did you know that you had the talent to make the jump from the NAIA level to the Division I FCS level?
Well, honestly, I had a few FCS offers in high school with Savannah State and Kennesaw State, But with the ACT score, it took me a while to get that score, and the recruitment process is closed up, and KCU was really the only option for me that gave me a chance to, still get that score. And I ended up getting that score at KCU, and at that point, I knew that KCU wasn't going to be the last stop I was going to make before I made a run to play professionally. And I felt like once we played Morehead State and at Kentucky Christian, I knew that I wanted to make that a move and begin playing at the Division I level.
And just in the irony of college sports, you had a chance at a revenge game, so to speak. You got to play against Kentucky Christian, and you actually hit them for 2 touchdowns. What was it like just being able to play your former team and have such a good showing?
Well, honestly, me personally, I didn't look too much, as a revenge game, but just another opportunity to showcase my skills, even though I had to stay humble and wait my turn and put my team in the best position to win that game with those 2 touchdowns. I feel I try to ignore the outside noise and make sure I look at all my opponents the same. Just another team standing in the way of accomplishing my goals. And Kentucky Christian was one of those teams. So I didn't too much look at it as a revenge game, but just another game to, go be great.
And now on a little bit of unfortunate news with the Pioneer Football League announcing that there would be no fall football. What was the reaction to that decision?
Well, me personally, I would say because during this pandemic, there's been a lot going on with like the Black Lives Matter movement, as well as people losing their lives to COVID-19. And I kind of feel like this is it was kind of a no-brainer. Although I want to be on the field, at all times playing football, I think it was the best decision, and I respect it enough to, be ready whenever everything goes back to normal. Um, Also, praying for justice for Breonna Taylor as well. So,
And with that, you said if there is a chance at playing this season, the aims have been geared towards a spring season. What are your personal goals if that spring season does happen?
um, I've already opted out of the spring season, but for 2021 fall, I plan on, playing in the Reese Senior Bowl game and winning the PFL championship with my team and taking my game to the next level to be able to grow and excel at the next level. So anything that I can do amongst those lines.
And now, as you said, you've elected to not play if there's a spring season. So as you move towards next fall 2021, what do you have your sights on besides the Pioneer Football League championship? Is there something that you're hoping to show the younger guys from a leadership standpoint?
Um, yeah, I could, of course, be a better leader and help them grow in the aspect of knowing that you can do anything you put your mind to, no matter what, no matter what people think. And obviously, the team goal is to win the conference championship and get a ring. But I also want to go undefeated and make a statement as well to show that we should be here and it should have been like this all along. So.
And let's go ahead and let's move into that part of your game with the running style. Who would you describe your running style after, and which running backs inspire you?
Um, I try to model my game after Barry Sanders, because a lot of people think he was undersized in the league, and he shows how he's fearless regardless of his height, with the ability to make anybody miss at any time. And sometimes here lately, I like to watch Christian McCaffrey as well, just because he's undersized as well in the league, but he can do it all, and he likes to catch the ball in the backfield. He can run between the tackles, and I would say that's what rounds my game of. And I'm a balanced runner, but I'll beat you at being explosive and speed. But I also will run through you if I have to. So,
Earl, I wanted to ask you about a major accomplishment, and that is you've already completed your business degree. What does that mean to you?
This accomplishment, it means a lot to me just because there are many people who doubted me, and didn't think I would be where I am today. And pretty much graduating to me means a lot just because I did it for my uncle who I lost in 2014. And my freshman year, he told me that he wanted me to graduate college and go far and play football. And ever since then, I just continue to take off and do it for him. And there's a few things I have in mind, but I want to get started with motivating my family. And I don't think I would have got this far without them. So I continue to thank them. And just the degree is great to have.
And Earl, it was great getting to understand your perspective as a player with a lot of those position and on-field questions. Now, I want to take a step away from the field, and I want to get to know you. So I'm going to start off with this question. What's the song that you're embarrassed to admit you like?
I'll say you could sometimes catch me singing a little Beyonce. I would say the song Ego by Beyonce.
No, Earl, let's go ahead. If you're singing that Beyonce song, you're just having a good time. What's the dream car that you're doing it?
Of course, I'm coming in the Rolls Royce Wraith. Beyonce playing with the windows down.
Hey, if you're going to do it, you got to do it, right?
Yeah.
Now, Earl, what was the most memorable or interesting class you took while obtaining your business degree?
I took this class here lately. It was political theory. I was lost in that class, but I ended up catching on last minute and, pulling that grade out with a B. But that class was interesting, but it was also really hard because I had no idea what was going on. A lot of reading.
Now, Earl, if I'm hungry near the campus of Morehead State, where do I need to go?
You definitely need to go to B-Dubs. Definitely, B-Dubs is gonna get you together. That's probably the best place, and as well as Hibachi. But it would be a drive-through. So if you want to sit down and eat, I would suggest B-Dubs. But if you want to, a quick snack, I would suggest a Hibachi.
All right. And now we're going to finish it off with this question here for you today, Earl. If you won $1 million and you could donate it to any charity or any cause, what would it be?
I would donate $1 million to feed the people who are struggling, to provide for their families and things today. Not many people expected a pandemic, and there's people out here that are struggling, and they're not able to provide for their families as needed. And if I had $1 million, I would definitely give that to them. Also, those people who don't have a place to live and outside struggling as well. Everybody deserves to be treated equal, so I would definitely give them the opportunity.
That's a wonderful answer. Being able to donate to families that have been displaced or that are struggling to eat due to the pandemic, I think is a valuable use of that $1 million. Now, Earl, that's going to do it for us for today. And before we get out of here, I'm going to give you one final chance to address the fans of Morehead State for what they should be waiting for the next time we see the team take the field.
Next time you all see us take the field, you're going to see a undefeated season ahead, as well as a PFL championship ring on our fingers. And I just pray the fans continue to watch us and support us as we continue to grow. I continue to put God first in everything, as well as, everyone else. And he'll make a way for you no matter what. He'll always be there for you. So,
ladies and gentlemen, for Earl Stoudemire Jr., I am Craig Forrestall. Until next time, stay safe and be easy.
Hey everybody, Craig Forrestall. Thanks for tuning in and listening to another episode of That Sports Guys podcast. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at @that_sports_guy to catch all the latest updates and podcast episodes. Until next time, stay safe and be easy.